It is akin to narcissistic abuse. They can never admit that they have failed or that they have done anything wrong. So what do? They tell the public that it's our fault. It's your fault. Shabbat shalom. Mommy stayed home for the first time, I might add. In case you missed it, in case you've been hiding under a rock, Erica Kirk was slated to appear alongside her friend, Vice President J.D. Vance, at the University of Georgia, and she just completely no-showed it. She stood him up. That is not casual. That is the sitting Vice President of the United States. It is low-key disrespectful outside of a real emergency. Emphasis on the word real. Andrew Colvett is going to, as you are about to see, last minute on stage inform and surprise even the event planners with this message. Take a listen.
For those of you wondering why I don't have really flowing, long, blonde hair right now, so I'm going to address it right at the front. Mr. Vice President, I'm on stage here instead of our friend Erica Kirk.
That's right.
Because unfortunately, she has received some very serious threats in her direction, which is terrible. It's a terrible reflection on the state of reality and the state of the country. But it underscores a larger point that she has received a lot of attacks from surprising places, perhaps. Tell us what you think about that and some of the people that have made, part-time jobs out of attacking Erica, and this is the net result.
Oh my, is the implication here that it's our fault? Is it my fault? Why do I feel like they're talking about me? Is that weird? They're even going to bring in their Hasbro friends over at the Daily Wire to further substantiate the matter because people are going, this feels weird. What could be so much of a threat that they just let the VP, Vice President of the United States, carry on with the event? The people are noticing this doesn't sound right to us. And so since Charlie's passing, the Daily Wire, you will note, always has the inside scoop on what's going on with Erica Kirk for some reason. And here is what they said on Twitter. They said, regarding the threats to Erica Kirk that prevented her from attending today's events with Vice President Vance, a TPUSA official tells me that their security had been monitoring the situation in the days leading up to today's event. People were doxing her travel location and trying to track her arrival and departure, I'm told. And there were multiple direct threats against Erica specifically. This ultimately led to her security's assessment that they could not guarantee her safety. The event venue itself was fine, especially once VP was on site, but it was the travel portion that was the chief concern, the official tells the Daily Wire. Her children are one parent away from being orphans, and so we take the security's assessments and advice seriously. Her event is listed publicly. People buy tickets, or I guess not buy tickets, but they register their tickets to go to these events for free. So you're doxing yourself in order to be a public figure that goes on a tour, right? If you're a singer, a songwriter, you got to say where you're going. You're doxing yourself, but someone's tracking your plane. Well, what is the concern there? That could not be alleviated. You couldn't have somebody on the ground just waiting there to make sure nobody was inside the private terminal, by the way. This woman does not fly publicly. Yeah, like I said, it had to have been something bad. I'm not buying this plane tracking excuse. It seems to me, especially they're mentioning the kids now. Every time they do that, they're basically using every tool that is not even available in Erica's emotional shed. So what actually happened? Let me back up here and give you some facts about the University of Georgia. There are over 43,000 students that are enrolled at the University of Georgia. This event was, as you heard him say, scheduled to take place at the Aikens Ford Arena at the Classic Center, which is near the University of Georgia. The stadium holds just 7,000 people. So they were hoping, with an announcement that the Vice President of the United States was going to be attending, that it was a guarantee that they would be able to peel off something like 15% of the student body to attend. But actually, they needed even less than that because to make matters easier for them, they also opened the tickets, the free tickets, to the general public. So forget having to get 15% of the student body to sign up. They just needed generally 7,000 people in the area that wanted to support MAGA and or the rock star widow, Erica Kirk. Reality, nobody wanted to attend. The ticket numbers were abysmal. That is what happens, and I want you to know that that is what has been happening. So in the umpteenth hour, they decided to cancel her appearance. And here is the evidence of what that event looked like. Here's a tweet with an accompanying clip, which was taken from reporter Jake Traylor, who is a reporter with MS Now. Take a look at this tweet and the accompanying video of the auditorium. He wrote, Turning Point USA seems to have misestimated crowd size for Vance. The Aikens Ford Arena less than 25% filled for the vice president. Now, he's assuming it's because of Vance, right? That people are not showing. Could be another reason. A person who was supposed to be there until the umpteenth hour, people could be turning down that particular opportunity. And I'm sure everything Vance and Trump are doing at this current moment isn't helping much either. In fact, it was so bad, right? The turnout was so bad that if we go back and re-watch that Fox News clip, they're actually showing you fake footage. Well, it's not fake footage, it's real footage, but it's fake B-roll because it's from old Turning Point events. This is how sloppy the Hasbro is. We'll show you this. We'll scroll here. Not the venue. Not the venue. And yet in the corner, it says Andrew Colvett via X on Tuesday because it says Athens, Georgia. This is not true. This is true propaganda. And we took a closer look at it, and they actually spliced together 3 separate events so that they could show something of substance when Andrew spoke. That is humiliating. That is humiliating. And he's there pitching a story, a sad story about why they couldn't do it because it's your guys' fault. You didn't keep Erica safe. Now, I am told by Turning Point USA college students and volunteers that this has been a repeat problem, that they similarly had a very hard time moving tickets for her event in Washington, D.C. with Caroline Leavitt. They just could not hit capacity. They never did, despite effectively turning these events. They're not even know why it's called a college tour anymore. It's just anybody in the public, general admission, that is willing to come listen to Erica Kirk speak for free, please come. They're going to eventually start paying people to attend these events, and they cannot sell out even a small auditorium. And yesterday, it looks like, was the worst audience turnout in Turning Point's history. Okay, let me repeat that. Under Erica Kirk's stewardship, Turning Point USA is now facing a crisis. It is the worst turnout in the organization's history, even with a feature alongside the Vice President of the United States. Similarly, they had to move the Believers Summit, something that they advertised for last year. It was slated to take place back in October, but they could not move any free tickets. Erica knew that she was not coming long before Andrew Colvett made the announcement on stage. Yet, she did not make a statement herself until after the event began. What gives? Here's what she wrote on X. She retweeted a clip from the event, and she wrote this. I was so looking forward to tonight's event at the University of Georgia with our vice president, but after all our family has been through, I take my security team's recommendations extremely seriously. Thank you to our amazing Georgia chapter for your support. God bless you all. I can't stand the lying, the constant lying, and she is not being honest. Okay, she moves things off of her calendar. She will make it work. White House here over the weekend. She was at Bettina at Mar-a-Lago, the one who's marrying Don Trump Jr. She was at her bridal shower. Erica will be wherever it is that she needs to be. That is not the reason that she chose not to show up. And how do we know that this was not some last minute cancellation related to a threat? Well, first off, common sense. I knew they were lying as soon as Andrew announced it on stage. Take it from someone who has endured a great many threats. The last thing you do is announce a threat on stage when one is happening. In fact, I have dealt with threats at Turning Point USA events where we have had to inform them, this guy who was completely insane and escaped a mental institution or he was a mental hold, and they didn't know where he was. They alerted us, and I was doing an event in Nashville with Charlie, and we had to alert the security team. Nobody goes out and says, hey, Candace has a threat. That's why she's not here. And you know what? Would you like to, JD, let me give you the stage to blame everybody for her having this threat? That is so performative and outlandish that I instantly knew that it didn't pass the sniff test. But another way that we can confirm that we know this is not real and they're making this up is because Erica was also slated to speak yesterday at 1:30 p.m. in Georgia at a local high school. But she canceled that event, and she didn't cancel it last second. She canceled it the day before on Monday. Okay? So Tuesday, yesterday, she has a 1:30 event, and then she has an evening event with JD Vance. But on Monday at noon, she had already informed the high school that she was not going to be in attendance, a full day before her last minute on-stage cancellation of her event with JD that the students did not even know about. So she honored the high school students with information, but did not honor the college students with any information, making them look like fools outside, okay? And how did they do it? They emailed and they texted and informed the parents at school that her appearance had been canceled, and they gave a reason, and that reason was not security. Let's read it together. Here is the text that went out canceling the high school event. It reads, first, you can see they set this event up on March 30th. On Monday, you can see that it reads, parent alert, due to scheduling complications, the optional Turning Point USA high school event scheduled for tomorrow, September 14th, has been canceled. We are sorry for any inconvenience this may have caused and are hopeful for other Turning Point USA opportunities in the future. Okay? A scheduling conflict. A scheduling conflict, not a threat, but a scheduling conflict. Now, if there were a viable threat, wouldn't it have been prudent to inform the administration of a high school? Even if it was an airplane-related threat that, it must be, if it's so serious, like someone's going to harm her, you tell the high school, hey, we have a very viable threat right now. We don't want to bring this to you. They were not informed that. They were just told it was a scheduling issue and there was not some significant thing that was pending in the background, which caused her to abandon her previous God's got me philosophy. So, like I said, don't you think her staff would have let the high schoolers know if there was a threat? That would have been the responsible thing to do. I am told the truth is, again, that there was immediate parental backlash already that kept happening because she was announced. And they basically said, okay, this is an optional event. It then ended up that there was going to be abysmal attendance, meaning nothing that they could record on social media to make it look like she's, got the crowd going crazy. And so it was nothing for her to look forward to. And so she skipped it. This keeps happening. Parents and students are organizing against her for a variety of reasons. Some of them, those reasons that we have laid out on the show, they do not trust her. They do not believe her. And I can provide more proof for you by way of a parental chat on Facebook that is currently going on right now regarding another event that she has coming up at a high school in Phoenix, right in her backyard, no less. And this is a Pinnacle High School. The parents are organizing. Take a look at this chat. This is a parent that posted saying, I am very concerned learning that Erica Kirk is going to be speaking. And then you can see an anonymous member wrote below, as a teacher, I find this highly inappropriate and a safety risk to our students and staff. Also, as a teacher, I know the district may care more about attendance more than anything else. So call your kids out of school and that will send a message. They are basically 36 likes. They are organizing essentially a walkout, a boycott of Erica Kirk. Okay? I haven't reported on this stuff in the past. I've been very aware that this is going on. The reason why I am now laying this out today is because what enrages me so much about the messaging, the setup there by Andrew Colvett, is that it is akin to narcissistic abuse. They can never admit that they have failed or that they have done anything wrong. So what do? They tell the public that it's our fault. It's your fault. This wouldn't happen. This wouldn't happen if you guys would just stop criticizing her. That's completely psychopathic. We don't accept that. We reject that. Okay, no one does this. People cancel events last minute for a variety of reasons. He got drunk last night. He's hungover. Their PR comes out, makes an excuse. He had a mental breakdown backstage. We've seen a lot, especially in the land of rock and roll. Oh, I lost my throat. I lost my voice. I won't be able to sing tonight. Probably was partying. I want you to actually go through your mind of all the famous people that you know who have canceled events last minute. When do you ever recall management coming out with messaging that implies that actually it's your fault? It's the public's fault. You didn't keep this person safe. They couldn't come out tonight because you failed this person. Well, that's exactly what the messaging was, and you should be infuriated about it. It is ridiculous. They are now paying influencers. Oh, if only everyone would just leave her alone. No one would track her plane. What? Do you not think people are tracking JD Vance's plane? Elon Musk took his notoriously off of something. Taylor Swift. People get their planes tracked all the time. By the way, there's no remedy for that situation. What's the future remedy? We're just not going to announce when we're just going to pop up and surprise people. The messaging was crappy. I'm so sick of there never being an adult in the room that will just come out and say, as a leader would, you know what? Ticket attendance wasn't great. We want to remedy that in the future. We want to figure out what we can do, changes we can make so that we can establish Erica as the new leader of Turning Point USA. You know, they're still getting to know her. That's responsible messaging. But these guys, it's your fault.